Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's Up in Real Estate, where we cover the three most important talking points for the previous week's real estate and mortgage news and events, along with Stoic quote of the week. Let's see what else. We have fun with puns, and we also have mortgage tips, and we have our special guest, ChatGPT-Sol. Sol, say hello, and hey, let's thank our sponsors, Rate.com and List Reports, and Sol, say hello and tell us what's on tap for today.
Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here. Today's show is all about the spring real estate revival. Despite economic uncertainty, better weather and more homes on the market are bringing buyers back. We'll dive into everything from cooling mortgage rates to new home construction challenges. Whether you're buying, selling, or just curious, there's something here for everyone. So grab your coffee and let's get into it.
Let's do it. And hey, I had to double check because last week's show, you know what? We thought we were live, but hey, we had some technical issues. But hey, I'm your host. My name is Mortgage Mack. That's first name Mortgage, last name Mack. And you know what? We know that we make a difference in the lives of the people that we serve if they'll let us. And hey, if you don't take my word for it, go to our digital. We have a large digital address at #MortgageMack on Google and check out our nearly how many reviews do we have? So it's a lot.
It's quite a lot indeed. You've got nearly 300 five-star reviews out there, showcasing the difference you've made in so many lives. That's the power of dedication and expertise.
I like the way you count.
Thanks. It's all about keeping.
Great. Here we're going to go 1 second. We're going to go on with the next segment, Sol. I'll bring you in just a moment. And hey, talking point number one, La Primavera, prime time. Spring is historically the busiest time in real estate. And this year, hey, hopefully is different than, say, some previous year. Warmer weather, fresh inventory, and drawing buyers back to the market, maybe even improving rates. We're going to talk about that after last week's fiasco. Spring brings energy, color, opportunity to the market that blooms, and listing means more options for buyers, and it could mean quicker, stronger offers for sellers, but with more activity comes more competition. So it's important to be ready with a game plan, and I can tell you that I spoke to some buyers yesterday. That was their sole motive, is that, hey, they believe that if rates start to decline, it's going to be more competitive in the marketplace, and they wanted to get a jump on everyone else. And so we're going to bring Sol in here. Sol, I have a question for you as it relates to this. With more homes hitting the market, what should buyers be doing right now to stay competitive? I think I know the answer to this.
Great question. To stay competitive, buyers should get pre-approved for their mortgage so they can act quickly when they find the right home. They should also work with a trusted real estate agent who knows the local market. Having a solid offer strategy, including being flexible with terms and moving fast on desirable properties, is crucial. And of course, keeping a close eye on the latest listings and being ready to tour homes as soon as they hit the market will give them an edge.
Hey, I can't say enough how important that is, right? Because I have a buyer just yesterday that, called me. I talked to her earlier in the week and I said, hey, let's apply now. And now it's Friday and hey, we want to make an offer. And we haven't even discussed financing. And, they applied. There was fixed income. There were no assets on the application. And, it wasn't just enough comprehensive information to make a definitive decision because, hey, I know that, a lot of real estate agents, a lot of lenders, they confuse pre-approval with pre-qualification, but we do not. And even in our pre-qualification process, we just try to go to extra links to try to make sure that if we're sending a qualification letter to you as a buyer or you as a real estate agent, that we have a super high degree of certainty, unless something changes in the paperwork, that this person is going to be successful. So I can't say enough about what Sol just said about how important it is to have a trusted real estate agent. And if you need one, we have some really fantastic agents that I would trust my money, my children with. And you know what? We believe we're really good at what we do, and that we believe that we work for the best mortgage company on the planet. So let's move on to talking point number two. So, hey, mortgage rates. Wow. Last week's fiasco, we're not going to delve into that, but let's just say that it was stupidity at the highest level and or unscrupulous on purpose. Anyway, that's a different subject for a different day. But mortgage rates spiked over 7% amid economic uncertainty, but have since come back down to about the 6.88 range, according to Mortgage News Daily. This small dip in rates is relief for buyers who were watching affordability slip away just a week ago. And while we were still far from the lows of 2020, today's rates are lower than they were a year ago. It's a reminder that timing and locking in your rate can make a big difference in your monthly payment. And look, I don't believe that there's any major economic events that for the foreseeable future, based upon any policy that's coming out of Washington, D.C., that is going to be good for the economy. Therefore, I'm expecting employment to rise, and if subject to tariffs, because there's actually talk on the street that tariffs could be inflationary with rising unemployment, could be depression. And people need to digest that and take that in, that we haven't seen that in our lifetime. And I'm not so sure that talking to the public that, and even people in our industry, that we even have a full comprehension of what that might look like. Because we avoided that during COVID. We avoided that during the Great Recession. And I think that the reason we were able to do that successfully and not have the same negative impact as the Great Depression did is because of regulations of some of the financial industries, but also, not being on the gold standard, and, if you have to print more money, then just print more money. But make sure people have housing and they have food in that situation, because those were real issues. And if you've never read the book, People's History of the United States, now it's a must read. It is an absolute must read. I haven't read any specific books, but I've read a lot of history surrounding the Great Depression. And leading up to the Great Depression, there was no regulation of the financial markets. And the current administration is looking to deregulate those financial markets. And so that, and I think, and I believe, with every fiber of my being, and I think it's coming out in the media now, and I've been saying it for months and months, it's on purpose. They're sabotaging the economy to compel the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. And quite frankly, they don't really care who it impacts. But if you study American history, that's always been the case. So with that said, you know what? I know I'm getting a little political here, but you know what? I'm not political. It's not political. Actually, it's historical facts. And if you go back and read history of the United States, what I'm saying is historically factual. Sol, don't you agree?
Absolutely. History shows us that economic policies and market regulations have a huge impact on the broader economy. The lessons from past events like the Great Depression and more recent recessions highlight the importance of thoughtful regulation and proactive policy decisions. It's crucial to understand these historical patterns to navigate the present and future effectively.
That's right. That's right. And the best way for us to do that as U.S. citizens is to exercise our vote. So how about that? So we're going to move on to a commercial from rate.com, and we'll be back with segment 3, Stoic Quote of the Week, and fun.
Looking to purchase a new home? The Rate app from Guaranteed Rate has got you covered. Once you've downloaded the Rate app, click to log in and create your password. This will take you to the intro page. Click the gray Same Day or Home Loans tile, and then click to New Home. The Rate app from Guaranteed Rate has got you covered. Once you've downloaded the Rate app, click to log in and create your password. This will take you to the intro page. Click the gray Same Day or Home Loans tile, and then click the red Apply Now button. Then click Start a New Loan. Begin by telling us where you are in the home buying process. Typically, for a pre-approval, you will click What Can I Afford? From there, the Rate app will load a series of simple questions. Answer each one the best you can as you move along. Once you've completed the application, your loan officer will receive a notification so they can review your information and set up your personalized checklist. The Rate app even allows you to upload documents right from your phone. It's just that easy. And if you do get stuck or have any questions, just give us a call. We'll be sure to get your questions answered so we can get you one step closer to owning the home of your dreams. The Rate app from Guaranteed Rate, simplifying life's biggest purchase.
Hey, thank you, Rate. And you know what? I can't say enough about how world-class our mobile application is. And you know what? And if you don't have a copy of that on your phone, go to mortgagemack.com, click on the QR code, take a picture of the QR code, download your copy. You can, you can search for homes. You can run numbers and do sort of an affordability calculator. You can apply for a mortgage, get an approval in the same day. You can apply for a personal loan. You can shop insurance. And you know what? There's even like tons and tons of yoga and exercise classes, just a whole host of things that are focused on financial health, personal health. And I'm an advocate for both. And so thanks, Ray, for such a world-class application. Super excited about our mobile app. So talking point number 3, tariffs and new homes. Builder confidence ticked up slightly in March, but future expectations hit a 4-month low. Rising material costs driven by what? Tariffs are adding nearly $10,000 to home. You know, I think we said this back in February or sometime. We'll ask ChatGPT in a minute, but with 60% of suppliers already raising prices, builders are under pressure, and that cost gets passed along to buyers. Hey, you know what? I don't do new homes very often because all the new home builders own their own mortgage companies. So this is good for my resale market. So the uncertainty around tariffs makes it hard to plan, which also dampens builders' optimism. And hey, you know what? They elected the person that's in the office. And so this is sort of an outcome of that. And they believed all of that nonsense. So it also shrinks options for buyers looking at new construction, which is good for me, good for my agents, so that we can help you renovate a home, and we can take an older home and make it new. And we believe that from a value standpoint, that a resale home is a far much better value than a new home. So with that said, let's bring in ChatGPT-Sol and get some perspective from ChatGPT. How do you think this will affect the resale market in the coming months, as I just stated? Chat?
You're spot on. As new home construction becomes pricier due to tariffs and supply chain issues, more buyers will likely turn to the resale market. That shift increases demand for existing homes, which could drive up prices and competition in the resale market. It's definitely an opportunity for buyers to look at renovating older homes to meet their needs, and for agents and lenders to focus on the value and potential of resale properties. Overall, it's a trend that could reshape the market dynamics in the coming months.
Hey, what advice would you give someone deciding between new build and an existing home? And then I'm going to give my perspective. You go ahead first.
Sure, if someone is deciding between a new build and an existing home, I'd say it depends on their priorities. New builds offer modern designs, energy efficiency, and fewer immediate repairs, but they can come with a higher price tag and potential delays. Existing homes often provide more character, established neighborhoods, and potentially better value, especially if they're willing to invest in renovations. I'd recommend evaluating their budget, timeline, and willingness to take on projects. Ultimately, it's about what fits their lifestyle and long-term goals.
I like that. I like that perspective. And, me personally, I told a buyer recently, I'm like, you know what, I'm probably averse to that, just for no other reason than the time frame that it takes to build. So I'm not one that would just go in, or it could be my childhood, right? It was like in my childhood, I missed baseball season because we were building a home. And when I was growing up, when you built a home, you know what that meant? Your neighbors came over, people you knew, and everybody came over to help. And you would find a general contractor who would sort of oversee the project, but it was not nearly as formal as it is today. And so I'm probably averse to building a home from the ground up. But it doesn't mean that I wouldn't buy maybe a new home if it were already built. And so with that said, but I live in an older home that's built in the 90s. It's 100% brick, which you can't get anymore. It just has really, really good bones, and it's in a great, great neighborhood. So I believe that with a good real estate agent and some time, you can find a great resale property. And hey, if it doesn't meet the aesthetic needs, you know what? We have an entire department devoted to renovation loans that can help you, me, and your real estate agent turn an older home into something new for you. So we're going to move on to mortgage tip, and this week's mortgage tip is dun 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 dun. What not to do before closing. Hey, you know what? Imagine you're under contract, great, but it's not time to celebrate with shopping spree. Not at all. Making big financial decisions right before a closing loan will jeopardize your loan. Even small missteps like opening a new credit card or missing a payment can throw your debt to income ratio out of balance or force a lender to delay or deny. The best move, stay steady, and when in doubt, ask me. And before making any major changes in your life. Now let's bring ChatGPT in here for some comment on this and a couple of questions that I have. And so ChatGPT, what's the most common mistake buyers make before closing?
One of the most common mistakes buyers make is taking on new debt, like financing a car or making large purchases on credit. This can change their credit score or debt-to-income ratio, which might affect their mortgage approval. Another big one is changing jobs or income sources right before closing. Lenders like stability, so it's best to keep everything consistent until after the loan closes.
Great, thank you for that. So let's move on. Hey, one more question though. How early should buyers start planning for a mortgage? Do you have a figure there? Do you have a number of days or any perspective on that? Because I do.
Absolutely. Ideally, buyers should start planning at least 3 to 6 months before they want to purchase. This gives them enough time to check their credit, save for a down payment, and get pre-approved. It also allows them to address any financial issues that might pop up. The more prepared they are, the smoother the process will be when they find the right home.
And you know what? I'm of the mind that it's never too early, especially when you maybe don't have any knowledge as to what this looks like. And if you're thinking long term, you're young, or maybe not even if you're young, if you've just never ever owned a home, it's not a bad idea to plan well in advance so that we can help you maximize your credit, maximize your savings, make sure you have stable income so that when you get ready to apply and you start actually going out looking at homes, you already have in the framework of your mind that we're going to be successful in this endeavor and that we have maximized the opportunity to obtain the best terms for the loan. So moving on to Stoic quote of the week. Dun, 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 dun. I think a lot of folks could take this to heart. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. Epictetus. So?
Absolutely. That's a powerful reminder. Freedom, whether it's financial freedom, personal freedom, or freedom of choice, is a goal that drives so many of our decisions. It's a great perspective to keep in mind, especially when navigating big life choices like home ownership.
Yeah, you know what? And I believe that freedom should be relevant to everyone. And especially in a country where the United States of America, where we are, quote, believers in individual freedoms, but we have a tendency to have elected officials who believe that they should have the right to constrain some of those freedoms. And the freedom should never, ever, the boundaries of your individual freedoms are, does it either impose and or inflict any sort of challenges on other individuals or societies? Did I get that right, ChatGPT? Would you like to embellish on that?
You nailed it. The essence of freedom is that it should empower individuals without infringing on the rights and well-being of others. Balancing personal liberties with the collective good is a cornerstone of a thriving society. It's a principle that can guide not just personal decisions, but also policy and leadership.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Sol. Let's move on to fun with puns today, and we're going to hang out with ChatGPT and have a little fun. So let's keep it light. Let's see what we have here. Oh my goodness, old age is like underwear.
All right, I'm curious. How is old age like underwear?
It creeps up on you.
Haha, that's a good one. It definitely does sneak up on you when you least expect it.
Have you ever been to Ronald McDonald's, ChatGPT?
I haven't, but I've heard it's quite the place to catch up on some fries and fun.
What's Ronald McDonald's favorite metal band?
All right, you got me. What's Ronald McDonald's favorite metal band?
Mack&CHAT?
Oh, that's perfect. Mack&CHAT, a delicious twist on Black Sabbath.
It's kind of goofy too, though, don't you think? Okay, I got one for you here, and let's see. What do you call a reptile found between two buildings?
What?
Alligator?
Haha, a reptile between two buildings, an alligator. Love it.
Okay, I got another one for you. Come on, you gotta get at least one today, right? So, the film about guarding had a big.
All right, let me guess. A big hedge hit.
Plot twist.
Yes, nailed it. A big hedge hit. Brilliant.
Plot twist.
Haha, perfect plot twist indeed.
Perfect. What do you call the fear of giants?
Ooh, what do you call it?
Phobia.
Phobia of giants. Phobophobia. That's clever.
That's right. Have you ever had an ale, ChatGPT?
Well, I haven't had an ale myself, but I've heard they're quite the brutal experience.
Brutal experience. I love it. So I prefer my kale with a silent K.
Haha, so it's just ale. Hold the K. Nice one.
Yeah. And hey, what's my favorite pun?
Your favorite pun? Who's always shaking her fins? Sharkira.
No, my favorite pun is bad puns. That's how I roll.
Haha, well played. Bad puns really do have a special way of rolling into the conversation.
So hey, thanks for joining us today. Let's get in our little image here. I got to bring up an image here for my compliance department that you must see, that everybody must see before we end the show. Un momento. One second. There we go. So, hey, thanks for joining us today and for What's Up with Real Estate. And remember, knowledge is the key to making the best decisions for you and your clients. And we try to genuinely impart our knowledge to you, to your clients. And you know what? I can tell you, I've run into a lot of clients that just think they know it, right? And they don't know it. Got one that's went to one of those online lenders, right? He's potentially losing $16,000 in a whole host of earnest money, equity, right? Because his realtor negotiated a great deal for him, but can't get his financials together. And you know, the way that our process is set up to where we make that your responsibility up front. It is a priority to get your financial documentation in so that we can help you make bona fide decisions as to your qualification, so that we can have a very specific plan to help you move forward without the possibility of something being a disruptor that would cost you money. So we're going to bring Sol in here for one final goodbye. So what would you like to tell everyone before we go?
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember, being prepared and informed makes all the difference in real estate. Stay sharp, stay proactive, and we'll see you next time on What's Up with Real Estate.
That's right. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll see you at closing.